Hey, sports fans, welcome back to another episode of Bucky Sports Show. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves for one last time. The Braves wrapped up their season this past week, and we're going to talk about that here real quick. We're going to start on Monday night where the Braves won 11-5. Chris Sale got his final start of the season. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs, 3 hits, walked 2, struck out 6. He did get the win. Braves offense, 11 runs. They were clicking. They were absolutely clicking. 7 for 16 with runners in scoring position. You take that. They did leave 13 men on base. That's probably a little too high. But when you score 11 runs on 14 hits, you're going to take that 162 times. And more, because usually that's going to get you into the playoffs. But it is what it is. The issue in this game was that Ozzie Albies broke his hand, which, you say out for the season never sounds good, but that's what that was labeled as, out for season. So he missed the final week of the year here. So hopefully he gets healed up quickly and is able to do his off-season work, because a 240 average just is not good enough from him. Braves scoring, though. Got started in the first off a home run from Acuna Jr. H2 added a run on an RBI double. Drake Baldwin, he had a 2-run single in the third. Marcell Ozuna, he followed with an RBI single. H2 had another RBI single. And Acuna Jr. had a bases loaded walk. So the Braves were able to score 5 runs in that third inning. The Nationals added another home run to give them 2. Braves got an RBI from H2 on a force out, make it 8-2. And the Nationals had a 3-run single in the 5th. Okay, so on that play, it was a ground ball that was hit to Nacho at third. He kind of deflected it a little bit and slowed it down. Kind of weird that all 3 of those runners were able to score. Thankfully, it didn't really matter, as the Nationals wouldn't score anymore on that game, but kind of an oddity that a single scores all 3 runs. But anyway, going on, in the 6th, the Braves added another run on a sac fly from Nacho Alvarez. Jurickson Profar had an RBI single. Nick Allen also had an RBI single there in the 6th, so they tacked on 3 more in the 6th. There's no scoring the rest of the way. End of that inning gave us our 11-5 final. A pretty solid game for the Braves overall. And the Drake Baldwin Rookie of the Year watch, he was 2 for 4. He had 2 runs scored, 2 RBI. He walked once, struck out twice. Pretty solid game there for him. So we will move on to Tuesday night. Braves 1-0 biter, 3-2 here. Hurston Waldrop got his final start of the season. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 run, walked 4, 5 hits, struck out 5. He got the win. Just what a wonderful performance he's had this year. Last year, he was just awful for the Braves. This year, he came in and he was lights out more times than not. 6-1 record, 2.88 ERA. Fantastic performance, night in, night out for that young man. Just really hope he's able to find a spot in the rotation next year, because I really think he's earned it. He's kind of a bright spot where some light was needed this year. But the Braves offense, again, I've complained about this all year. 0 for 3, runners in scoring position, left 5 men on base. They still won, but holy cow, 0 for 3. Couldn't scratch out a hit with a runner in scoring position. Scoring, Nationals got a run in the third off of C.J. Abrams single. And then for the Braves, in the fifth, H2 had a home run to tie the game up. In the sixth, Acuna Jr. hit a home run to give the Braves a 2-1 lead. In the seventh, H2 hit a second home run to give the Braves a 3-1 lead. In the eighth, James Wood added a home run for the Nationals to make it a 3-2 game, and that's where our final ended. Overall, not a whole lot. Harris, H2, 2 for 3, 2 home runs. Pretty good night. James, for the Nationals, James Woods was 2 for 3 with his home run. Those were the only 2 guys for either team to have multiple hits in this game. So, really good pitching performance from both Waldrop and Lord. So, kudos to those young guys. But let's go to Rookie of the Year watch. Baldwin was 1 for 4. No scores, no RBI, did not walk, struck out once. Not his best night, but hey, a hit's a hit. Wednesday afternoon, Nationals won this game 4-3. In this game, Bryce Elder got the start. He went 7 innings. He gave up 3 runs. Didn't walk anyone, gave up 6 hits, struck out 7. The unfortunate part to this outing for him is he gave up 2 home runs. Scoring for the Braves offense, and this is the story of their season. Oh my God, this is the first time I'm seeing this number. 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 11. They left 10 men on base. Honestly, this game was being played while I was at work. This was like a 12:15 start, something like that. Game was over before I got home. 0 for 11. Holy moly. I mean, we'll get back into that later. But geez, oh Pete. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Scoring for the Braves, I'm guessing they're all home runs. In the 6th, Drake Baldwin hit a home run. Make it a 3-1 game. In the 8th, Ozuna hit a home run, make it 4-2. In the 9th, Eli White homered to make it 4-3, which was the final 4-3 there. So on the Rookie of the Year watch, Baldwin was 1 for 5 with the run, the RBI on the home run that he hit. He struck out once, but he's able to add to that resume. Able to add to that there. And then after this game, it was announced that Hurston Waldrop had been optioned to the minor leagues. His season was done. He had options left, and they were looking for a place to put Charlie Morton. I will have more on that here in a second. Friday, Pittsburgh won this game 9-3. Joey Wentz got his last start of the season. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, struck out 3, gave up a home run. Again, oh my gosh. Runners in scoring position, Braves were 0 for 9. 0 for 9, left 9 men on base. 0 for 9. I don't have words. I don't have words for this awful performance. Anyway, going to scoring for the Braves, Olsen hit a home run in the first to get things started. Pittsburgh answered with 4 in the second. 4 runs in the second. H2, he had another home run in the 6th. The Pirates would add on a home run in the 7th. In the bottom of the 7th, Drake Baldwin had an RBI double. Pirates would add 4 more in the 9th to put it away. And that gives us our 9-3 final. Baldwin, Rookie of the Year. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. He did not strike out. He did hit a double. That was his 17th of the year. Acuna Jr., though, he was 3 for 4 in this game. H2, 2 for 4. So you had those guys with multi-hit games. Man, if you could scratch out some hits, maybe you get some more RBI and you get some guys in on the action. Get some more runs. 0 for 9. 0 for 9. Ugh. I'll tell you what, I am going to be glad I'm not going to be talking about that stat for a few months. Saturday, Spencer Strider got his final start of the season, and this was a 3-1 Pittsburgh win. Like I said, Strider, he went 6 innings, 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, struck out 5. I'll have more on that in a second. Offense, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Hey, at least they got a hit with runners in scoring position. It wasn't the best, but hey, after you go 0 for 20 with runners in scoring position, I guess you'll take a 2 for 8 night. But only 1 run, so one of those hits did not score a run. Jeez. I don't know why I torture myself with this. Bottom of the second, Drake Baldwin had a leadoff triple. Marcell Ozuna would knock him in on a single. Pirates answered in the 3rd with a home run, and they added 2 runs in the 6th to give us our 3-1 lead, or 3-1 win. It really wasn't a lead. Rookie of the Year watch. Again, Baldwin, 2 for 4, half run scored, struck out twice. He did have a double and a triple in this game. That was his 18th double, his 2nd triple. We will move on to Sunday. Sunday was a better day, somewhat. This was the game 162. The Braves won this 4-1. Charlie Morton got the start in this game. This is the reason that Hurston Waldrop was sent down. After the Tigers series last weekend, they released Charlie Morton after he gave up 6 runs to the Braves. The Braves drafted Charlie Morton in 2008. They traded him, and he would return to Atlanta in 2021. Really pivotal in helping them win a World Series that year. He went 14-6. He actually had his leg broken in a World Series game he was throwing. He finished the inning. Just the guts and the determination in that. He will always be remembered fondly by the Braves fans. But he pitched for them in 21, 22, 23, 24. Braves did not want to re-sign him. He went 8-10 last year. just didn't have a great year. Went to Baltimore. He went 7-8. They traded him Detroit. He went 2-3 with a 7.09 ERA. Just wasn't very good. They were looking for someone to finish strong for their playoff run, so they released him. Braves picked him up, and he got the start. He pitched 1 1/3 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 1 walk. His final pitch was a strike 3. Many are speculating that this was his final game of his career. So to get that last batter on a strikeout, what a phenomenal way that would be for him to end his career. And to do that with the team that drafted you and you won a World Series with, I'm sure probably had special meaning for him. And if that's what we did by picking him up, I applaud the Braves in doing that, because we weren't in no race. We might as well do something fun like that, and honor someone that helped us win a World Series. After that 1 1/3, Chris Sale came into the game. He went 5 2/3 innings, gave up the 1 run, 4 hits, 2 walks, struck out 9. He got the win. He finished 7-5 on the year. Iglesias, he came in, got the save. He finished with 29 saves. Boy, if you would have told me that in April or May, I would have laughed my ass off. What an awful start of the year that guy had. Offensively for the Braves, though, again, a little better, not a whole lot. 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. I left 4 men on base. Scoring-wise, Acuna Jr. had a 2-run home run in the first. The Pirates added 1 in the 6th. Olson had an RBI single in the 8th. And Drake Baldwin had a ground ball force out that scored Olson, but he did not get an RBI on, as there was an error on the throw to first, and the scorer decided that the only reason that Olson scored was because of the error. I take a little issue to that, but whatever. I always thought that double plays could not be assumed, and there were no throwing errors on double plays. But apparently, if someone goes home to score, there can be, even though Olson was on third base and was running at the crack of the bat. That's neither here nor there. Olson, though, 2 for 3, scored a couple runs, had an RBI. Pretty solid game for him. Acuna Jr., he had the home run there, 2 RBI. Rookie of the Year watch, Drake Baldwin, he was 0 for 4. He didn't strike out any, no walks, no runs, no RBIs, nothing like that, but he did go 0 for 4. So he's going to end the year with a 274 batting average. So that's game 162. Overall for the week, not an awful week. They extended the win streak to 10 games. It's the first time they had a 10-game winning streak since 2023. Kind of disappointing that they lost 3 in a row there to teams they should have beat. But overall, not awful. Could have been better, could have been worse. Let's talk about the season on a whole here for a minute. Drake Baldwin, Rookie of the Year candidate. He played in 124 games. He had 405 at-bats. He had 111 hits, 18 doubles, 2 triples, 19 home runs, 80 RBI. He only struck out 68 times. 274 average On base percentage of 341, slugging percentage of 469. The on base plus slugging was 810. So really, really nice job there. I wish his 124 was higher. I think this is a guy that can be an everyday player. 124 games. Again, I understand you have another good catcher. But when you're not catching, he's got to be there. And not only that, he only started 85 games as catcher. That's just over half the season. And Murphy missed some time on the IL at the start of the season and the end of the season. I did have 12 games as DH. But man, 12 at bats coming as a pinch hitter, and those are tough ones to come by. But looking at the field here, you only have 4 errors. He had a fielding percentage of 99.5. He threw 14 base runners out. I'm trying to steal. He did give up 88 of those, but on that, a lot of those were Braves pitching was just really bad at holding runners this year. Majority of those are on the pitchers. Only had 3 pass balls all season. 4 errors, 32 assists, 745 putouts. When you're only starting 85 games as catcher, those are pretty good numbers. The stolen bases aren't, but that's really the only thing that he struggled with was allowing stolen bases. And again, is that on him or the pitcher? If they get out to a huge lead, what's he supposed to do about it? He can only control so much from base runners. But man, what a fantastic season this kid had. I am not huge into postseason awards because most of the time it goes to the popular player or it goes to the player on the popular teams like New York's or Los Angeles Dodgers or something like that. But these New York and LA guys and the media that vote on it, they don't care about the Braves. They don't watch the Braves. They just watch their New York and LA teams, and they might see Drake Baldwin play a handful of times all year long. I don't care about awards, but if you're gonna have them, Drake Baldwin has got to be at the top of the list for Rookie of the Year. Like I said, I don't even know who's in the running against him. I really don't. Someone could be out there, could be better. If that is, they've had a good season. But in his time this year with the Braves, man, he had a phenomenal rookie season, and I hope he gets that award. Other Braves stats of note here: Ronald Acuna Jr., 21 home runs. He only played 95 games this year, just over half of the games. Pretty solid game there for him. He had a 290 average. Pretty solid season for him once he came off injury. Matt Olson, he played all 162 games for the Braves. He hit 272, 29 home runs, 95 RBI. He's had better years. You want to see the home run RBI totals up a little bit for him. But he got off to such a bad start. Really, all of them got off to a bad start, but him especially. H2, he played in 160 games. Yeah, he had 249, 20 home runs, 86 RBI. Again, that average has got to be a little higher for him. He's not a home run guy. 20 home runs is probably good for him. 86 RBI is good for him. He just needed to get off to a little bit better of a start, average wise, because he really struggled the first half of the season. When he made that change at the All-Star break to his swing, he was lights out there coming back. And then lastly, Ozzie Albies. 157 games, 240 average. That's just not good enough. 16 home runs, 74 RBI. You can live with that from him. But Albies and Harris, they have to live above the 300 average. They have to. Those are your contact guys. Let everyone else be the power guys. Again, Austin Riley, he only played 102. Jurickson Profar, he only played in 80. Hopefully he can stay off the drugs and not be suspended for half a season. Eli White, he played 105. He probably shouldn't be playing 105 games. So when you look at the stats, almost everyone had a down year, coupled with you had Ronald Acuna play 95, Sean Murphy, your starting catcher, played 94, Jurickson Profar, starting left fielder, played 80, Austin Riley, your starting third baseman, he played 102. Just way too many injuries on that front. And then when you get to the pitchers, my gosh, Chris Sale, he was 7-5. So usually the starting pitchers normally get about 30 starts in a season. Chris Sale was at 20. Spencer Strider was at 23. Grant Holmes, 21. Spencer Schwellenbach, 17. And those were your guys. Sale, Strider, Schwellenbach, Holmes, or Ronaldo Lopez, who didn't even play this year. Those were your starting five coming out of the bullpen, or coming at the start of the year. Those were your starting five pitchers, and not a single one of them. I mean, Spencer Strider was closest. He had 23. He had 23 starts, and he didn't start until end of May. That's when he started. And he had 23 starts. And that was the most out of the opening day expected rotation. Now, Bryce Elder, he benefited. He had 28 starts. That was the most on the team, but he wasn't an expected opening day rotation guy. So, those five openers that you're really counting on, they just didn't have full year. Schwellenbach, barely half a season. Grant Holmes, 21 starts. So just really, really tough season for the starters. And when you look at the numbers, they are just a nightmare too. Chris Sale, 7-5 with 2.58 ERA. That's not the worst. But then Bryce Elder, he's 8-11 with 5.30 ERA. Strider, 7-14 with 4.45 ERA. Now I will say, at the end of his final start in his press conference, he did say he's got to get healthy physically and mentally. So apparently he must have been feeling something, and he just wasn't mentally ready. Hopefully he can spend this off season, get to where he needs to be 100% on both ends, and get back to what he was expecting to do. But then Grant Holmes, 4-9, 3.99 ERA. And really, Spencer Schwellenbach, 7-4 with 3.09 ERA. I don't know. pretty sure that might have been the ace, but just, fantastic performance from him. Unfortunately, he had a hairline fracture of an elbow, so he couldn't go. And then, Joey Wentz, he had 13 starts. He was 3-6. He wasn't even on the team. That was a pickup. But Hurston Waldrop, talked about him. 6-1, 2.88 ERA, 9 starts. Wonderful performance out of him. Yeah, AJ Smith-Shawver, same thing. He started 9 games. He's 3-2, 3.86. He was looking really, really good there when he got hurt. Unfortunately, he's not going to be an option next year. He had Tommy John surgery, and he's probably out for all of next year as well. Hopefully he can bounce back and rejoin in 2027. We will see. And then, you look at a guy like Didier Fuentes. He had 4 starts. He was 0-3 with 13.85 ERA for them. Those were the type of numbers that Hurston Waldrop had for the Braves last year. So who knows? Maybe he goes back down to the minor leagues. He tweaks something, and maybe when he gets another chance, he's able to come back up next year and be as effective as what Waldrop was this year. Looking at the relievers, again, you talk about their games. Normally, you're looking at that 60 to 70 range is what relievers get into a year. And you had 3 guys that got that accomplished. Dylan Lee got in 74 games. Raisel Iglesias got into 70. And Pierce Johnson got into 65. No one else got into any game and didn't get in a full season. You had Aaron Bummer, only 42 games. De Los Santos got 43. Rafael Montero, 36. Then we traded his ass. Daysbel Hernandez, 39. Dylan Dodd, 28. Picked up Tyler Kinney right at the end of the break. He got 24 games in, but look at this cat. What a pickup this was for the Braves. 5-0 with a 0.72 ERA. Just really nice pickup there for the Braves. So when you look at that, and you look at, okay, well, Jose Jimenez last year threw 69 times with a 2.62 with a 2.62 ERA. He wasn't here. He was hurt. He was hurt all year. So you harp on the pitching, but you also have to understand there were a lot of injuries for the Braves. So that plays into it. And then I don't want to harp on this, but I'm going to. Braves finished 76 and 86. 76 and 86. The Braves were 21 and 35 in 1-run games. 21 for 35 in 1-run games. The Braves were 21 and 35 in 1-run games. And I harped on it all year long about runners in scoring position. The Braves were 335 for 1,328 with runners in scoring position. Braves had 4 games where they did not get a runner into scoring position. 4 games, they didn't have a single runner get to scoring position. They only hit 252 with runners in scoring position. And I would love to know what that average is where you consider that or the run scored, because I remember a lot where times I was saying, but the run didn't score. Run didn't score. They were one for whatever with runners in scoring position, but that didn't score a run, so didn't help any. So it just be interesting to see that stat. Let me see if Chat GPT couldn't help me with that. But again, just if you could just get that up closer. I said 300. I wanted to see that around 300, and you could be happy. But your playoff teams, they're hitting 277, 267. So you just 252. You just wonder if you could get a few more hits in these one-run losses. One or two more hits with runners in scoring position with the one-run losses. What happens? What happens if you can turn that 21 and 35 into, say, I don't know, let's just call it 6. Let's say one game a month. You can turn that around. And you put 6 more wins on the Braves. That puts them at 82. And now you're talking you're only a game out of the playoffs. One single game a month would have been put them in the playoff chase. And if they're in the playoff chase, then maybe they don't lose to Washington and Pittsburgh 3 times in a row at the end of the season. Just 21-35 in one-run games. Just not very good. That was probably the reason they are not a playoff contender. But, with that being said, though, we did have some nice accomplishments this season on an individual basis. Brian Snitker, Braves manager, he reached 800 wins on the year. Well, not on the year, but in his career. Chris Sale, he reached 2,500 strikeouts. Spencer Strider, he became the fastest in Major League Baseball history to 500 strikeouts. Ozzie Albies reached 1,000 hits. H2 have reached 500 hits. Acuna Jr. had 200 steals. And Matt Olson, just going to throw this in here, he reached 300 extra base hits as a Brave. So a lot of good individual things there for the Braves to build on. Looking at next year, Braves do have some question marks coming. First off is manager Brian Snitker. There's been talk that he could be retiring. He's at the end of his contract. Does he retire? Does he come back? Do the Braves just say, good luck, hope you find another job, but you're not going to be manager here? And then, looking at their lineup, Marcell Ozuna, he has reached the end of his contract. But as a DH, he hit 232 with 21 home runs and 68 RBI. I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough. I'm assuming that they're going to let him go somewhere else. Then on the pitching side, you also have Raisel Iglesias, who has the potential to hit the free agent market. I'm assuming that they will most likely let him go. He finished strong, so bringing him back, I wouldn't sign him for any more than 2 years. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on him either. So he's probably a question mark. And then you got Ha-Seong Kim. He came in, he played 24 games for the Braves, hit 253, 3 home runs, 12 RBI. You know, he's got a player option. Is that something you look at keeping at shortstop? Nacho Alvarez, in 58 games, he hit 234. Is that someone you look at maybe trying at shortstop, second base? He has a week off, and then he's going to the Arizona Fall League for the Braves, and you know, maybe you look at that. Always is getting older. He didn't perform this year. Maybe you trade him while you can, and put someone like Nacho at second base. Just some question marks. You could also trade Austin Riley, and keep Nacho at third base. You lose quite a bit of power if you do that. I'd much rather see Nacho go to the second base. Ozzy's older, but then when you look at everyone else, Matt Olson, I expect his numbers to go up next year. Ron Acuna Jr., if he's healthy, he's kind of in the prime of his career. H2, nice young player. Kind of had a down year. Get his numbers back up. Drake Baldwin, get him to be an everyday player. If you keep Albies, his numbers need to go up. Sean Murphy, again, another nice player who he had a down year, hit under 200 on the year, 199. Austin Riley, he's kind of in the prime of his career. Jurickson Profar, he's kind of in the prime of his career. You got a lot of nice pieces for next year, and even pitching wise, you're bringing back Chris Sale. You got Spencer Strider. You got Spencer Schwellenbach. You have Ronaldo Lopez, Grant Holmes, Hurston Waldrop, AJ Smith. Well, you're not going to have AJ Smith-Shawver next year. They could use the starting pitcher. Go out, maybe get 2 starting pitchers. Ronaldo Lopez could be a long relief guy if you need him to be. He is a great starter, but most of his career had been a long relief bullpen guy. But Braves made him a starter, and he did great at it last year. So, maybe go get a couple starters. Find someone to DH, or go get a third catcher, and find a way to keep Drake Baldwin in the game every day. He needs to be a 162er. Obviously, he can't catch 162 times, but he can DH, and if you carry a third catcher, that allows him to do. Okay, with that, let's look though at the rest of baseball. In the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays, they finished atop the AL East. They actually tied with the Yankees, but held the tiebreaker, so Toronto will officially be AL East champions. They also have the best record, so they will have home field advantage throughout the entire AL playoffs, at least. Yankees, they finished again tied, but they're going to be the top wild card spot. Boston, they earned a wild card spot. Cleveland Guardians, they finished 1 game up on the Detroit Tigers. So that series there where the Braves swept the Tigers, man, did that play pivotal in that race. But that, Detroit, they got a wild card spot. And rounding it out, Seattle Mariners, they won 90 games. They won the AL West. They are the other bye team for the AL. And then looking at the National League, the NL East, Philadelphia Phillies won that going away. NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers have the best record in baseball, so they will have home field advantage throughout. The Phillies are the 2 seed. The Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds found a way to come back and tie the New York Mets in the wild card due to the tiebreaker. The Reds were 6-2 against the New York Mets on the season, so the Cincinnati Reds are going to the playoffs, and the New York Mets are not. The only way that would be better is if it was the Atlanta Braves going to the playoffs in that position. But man, New York Mets spent all that money on everybody and got nothing for it. So kudos to them for that. And then in the NL West, you have the Dodgers as your NL West champion, and the San Diego Padres will be going to the playoffs. Wild card, AL wild card. Detroit and Houston actually finished in a tie. Detroit was the tiebreak winner, and in the NL. Again, we talk about the Reds and the Mets being tied there. So this came down to all 162 for both sides. Very exciting ending there. But looking at the brackets here on the AL side, you have the Detroit Tigers playing at the Cleveland Guardians in a best-of-3 series. And you have the Boston Red Sox playing at the New York Yankees in a best-of-3. Man, those couple 2 rivalry games there to get the playoffs started. A lot of fun there. And then when you look at the division series, you have the Tigers Guardians winner taking on the Seattle Mariners. So the Red Sox Yankees will go on to play the Toronto Blue Jays. So you're going to have a lot of AL East there at the very start. And then in the National League, you got the Reds playing at the Los Angeles Dodgers in a best-of-3. And you got the San Diego Padres playing at the Chicago Cubs in a best-of-3. Looking at the division series, you got probably the Dodgers going to be playing at Philadelphia there, and the winner of the Padres Cubs will be playing at the Brewers. So the Cubs Brewers, another fun rivalry. Could be a lot of interesting playoff series coming up here. If you like baseball, if you like playoffs, this one could be a good one. Like I said, the only way I think it could be better is if the Braves were in it. But that's neither here nor there. Man, and the schedule's already out. Baseball did not wait long on that. All your wild card games, that starts on Tuesday the 30th. And those are all on ESPN. The Padres and Cubs are on ABC. Your other 3 games are on ESPN. Same thing on the 1st, and same thing on the 2nd. Tigers Cleveland, they start at 1:08. Padres Cubs 3:08. Red Sox Yankees 6:08, and Reds Dodgers at 9:08, and those are the times for the entire 3 series. If those games go 3 games, they get 1 day off before they have to go play in their division series. I don't know. I'm a firm believer in. I think baseball's to be played daily. I think it hurts the others having some time off. I said at the start of the year, Dodgers-Yankees World Series, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. If those teams can play, get hot, they can keep winning. But it'll be an interesting playoff for sure. With that, I will close this out. This will be my last Braves broadcast. If you're a Sycamore fan, I do have a Indiana State Sycamore one you can listen to. I also will be having college football, NFL. We'll be doing the same thing for college basketball that I do for that when that starts up. So a lot of broad topics coming. But if you're more interested in just the Braves, opening day, March 26th, Atlanta, Georgia. Meet me there. I'll probably be there. That's spring break. We'll see if I can get to that one. With that, though, we'll sign off here, and we will see you next time. Be sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you have something else you want me to discuss, email me, BuckySportsShow@gmail.com. As always, enjoy the games. Go Braves!